Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a CD player. It's a Denon DCD-920. I was given this for free as a Facebook Marketplace find from the original owner. That's right, I actually collected this from the original owner of the unit, who bought it new in about 1990, I believe. It was very expensive back in the day, and yeah, they used this for many years until it stopped working. Overall, the unit is actually in very good condition. Here's the serial number on the back. It's got coaxial audio out, which is actually really nice to have, as well as your typical line level outputs and variable line out. Yeah, overall actually in pretty decent shape. It came with the remote, which is actually quite rare, and thankfully they hadn't left batteries inside of this thing, so the contacts were very nice and shiny in there. As you can see, it takes two AA batteries, and even more rare is the stereo user manual. So contains all the information on how to operate it, functions of the remote, the buttons, that sort of stuff. A few coffee stains and bits and pieces in this, but that's okay. I'm sure we can work our way through it. Can't be that hard. But yeah, overall the owner was actually pretty sad to give this thing up, and he was pleased to see it go to a new home where it can get a second life and hopefully a repair. So we'll go over the fault, of course, that this unit has, because of course there's no such thing as a free lunch. Information on the 920 model is actually pretty hard to come by. It's manufactured from 1988 to 1990 according to Hi-Fi Wiki here. This unit can read CDRs and was 799 Deutschmarks, which is roughly 800 New Zealand dollars today, which inflation is over 2,000 NZD, so not exactly a cheap unit. But before the repairs can begin, we have to go to Bunnings because I need a few bits and pieces, as well as a supermarket run. For starters, I need some plastic safe grease, so I've got the silicone grease here, and then we need, of course, some cotton buds and coffee, because, you know, necessities. So here's the fault with the unit. The good news is it powers on. We have a display. So that's one of the hurdles, of course, overcome right there, whether or not the thing actually turns on. But we have a lazy load mechanism. I suspect it's just the belt. So we can get it to open and close by giving it a little bit of help. But yeah, this isn't going to work if we're going to use it. So I'm going to test loading a disk to see if this actually reads the disk and spins up. So quite interestingly, it's acting like there isn't a compact disc in the machine. I'm just pushing a few buttons and things like that, as well as helping to eject and load the mechanism in case it's not completing its load cycle due to the slipping belt. There's a few problems that this could be. Could not be completing the load cycle because the slipping belt isn't, allowing it to finish. Or we've got dirty contacts perhaps on the little micro switches that detect if a disk is in there or if it's finished loading. So just to be double sure, I put a second disk in as well, just to see if it was one CD was causing the problem. But yeah, sadly, same result. Thankfully online there are user manuals for this, or service manuals, so taking the unit apart wasn't actually too hard with a bit of help. There's just 4 screws on the top lid here, and then that comes off, revealing our first look inside of the unit. Overall, looks pretty nice. I don't see any bulging capacitors, nothing's leaking, there's no corrosion that I can see. This was a very well kept CD player. Here we can see a visual representation of what's actually going on here. So we are sort of loaded, but the disc isn't spinning up. Could be a detection issue, dirty laser, a few things, but I'm betting micro switch and slipping belt. Speaking of which, the latter looks easy to get to, but that's pretty deceiving. You can see here the belt is also a little bit out of shape. It's been sitting a while, it's aged, you know, this thing is 30 years old. But I can't get it past the plastic load mechanism on the tray. So we're going to have to disassemble the unit a little bit further. For that, there's 8 screws on the bottom and 3 on the top for the button bezel. Overall, not too bad to disconnect. Removing the front bezels, just held in with a few plastic clips, of course. I left the CD tray in as well because it seems to catch on this bezel. I think you can get it past if you're willing to sort of pull it a bit harder. I wasn't risking breaking any plastics because this load mechanism sadly is made out of mostly plastic, but yeah, thankfully nothing broke. I could slide the tray out and yeah, the front bezel comes off. You don't need to disconnect the display ribbon cable because that stays with the chassis. And now we can finally get at our loading motor belt. So I'm going to try and find a belt that's roughly close, which I managed to do, but it's not exactly the correct size. So I'll have to order one in, but for now my test belt should work. Now moving on to the contacts for the little micro switch here. There is some fluff, which I can see with my eye, and it does look a little bit dirty. So I'm going to try and get rid of the fluff, which is a bit hard to do after 2 coffees. And then we got this deoxit spray, which is quite annoying to apply. It seems to go everywhere. Everybody knows that the spray nozzle is pretty terrible on these cans, but yeah, I'll try and mop some of it up. The next thing I'm going to do, just to be sure, is just clean the top of the laser lens here. It's made out of glass, so I'm just very carefully wiping with alcohol and a cotton bud and then drying it with a clean cotton bud. It was actually very clean. There wasn't really anything that came off on it. Another good tip, which you can sort of do as a Hail Mary, but I'm going to do it as a preventative thing, is remove and reseat all the plugs. This can help break up any corrosion to any components to the board. It's just, they're right there. They're easy to remove, non-brittle, and yeah, thought I'd give that a shot. I'm just going to do some cleaning sort of roughly around the area as well. I'm not using compressed air because I don't want to risk blowing dust up into the underside of the laser lens. It'd be very bad, you can't get that apart. So yeah, just doing a rough clean before reassembly, and we can give this thing a try and see if it's going to work. Off camera I did actually grease up all the plastic sliding parts and bits and pieces with that silicone grease. It's plastic safe. Just where things rub up against each other, the load mechanism, the metal rail there with the plastic laser slides on and off on, just to lube everything up as well. So yeah, just spend your time doing some cleaning, doesn't need a lot, and yeah, we can give this thing a go. So opening and closing appears to be fine. It's not a very fast eject mechanism. I'm not sure if that is normal. or not. It could be. I mean, it doesn't need to be fast, but yeah, seems to be moving at least pretty freely. And the disc spins up, which is a really good sign. Means that the load mechanism's completing its cycle. And as you can see with the timer, we've got we got audio playing as well. So really good news. At this moment, I'm just going to put the thing back together and give it a clean and go from there. To clean the unit, I'm just using some glass cleaner. It's a metal lid, so it's not going to hurt anything. And for the buttons, I actually just sprayed the cloth that I'm using. Well, it's actually just a paper towel, so of course I'm not spraying liquid directly into the controls. As you can see, it's pretty dusty. But yeah, that's to be expected. This thing's, it's been sitting in a living room for the past 30 years. It's going to have some dirt and stuff on it. And then I used a brush to get in between the buttons and the side grills and things like that. Just sprayed it again with some glass cleaner, scrubbed around the buttons, and then wiped it off with the paper towel. One part that everyone always seems to forget is the cable. So got some liquid on the paper towel and just running the cable through it. It was pretty dirty, not too bad, I've seen worse. And again, just cleaning the plug. The remote was next, and actually wasn't too bad. I don't think this thing's had a lot of use, to be honest. Again, just scrubbing around with the toothbrush here. I'm not using a lot of liquid, just enough to get in between all the buttons, and then I'll wipe it off, of course, with the paper towel, load some fresh batteries into this thing and see how it works. I'd love to be able to play you guys a CD, but the problem is my YouTube safe CD is in storage, but I can confirm this thing works a treat and actually looks a lot better than the newer NAD unit that I had on top, so really pleased overall. Alright everyone, that wraps this one up, a nice easy repair. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys soon in the next one. Bye for now.